So you guys have, is this a typical schedule? You guys meet for 1 in the morning, have lunch, and then you go back and...
Yep.
Yep.
Go mid-afternoon. and then
So
we'll
what's
be
going on? Where are the big subjects in the county right now?
Oh, what?
done. Mental health is
Mental health
a
is the big one.
huge issue still.
Yeah.
Nothing's got done. Obviously, highway is a big concern for
Yeah.
for us.
Where's
out there.
the bonding bill at? Where is that whole thing?
Well,
Progress being made?
no. And I talked to someone in leadership today, and we talked on a couple things, but we brought up that issue, and they had, I know Doubt met with the governor. I don't know if Bach was there. That part I'm not clear on, but I know Doubt was with the governor, and they haven't gotten anywhere. There's the governor wants a couple things that just are not gonna. I know they won't fly in the House, but I don't think they're even gonna fly in the Senate. So because remember with bonding, you have to have a 60% vote, and with the original bonding bill and those final hours that we much hullabaloo about, there were seven Democrat senators who said they will not vote for the bonding bill if the Southwest Light Rail is not in it. So the Republicans, they went to the Republicans and got those votes. Now you throw in Southwest Light Rail, you're not going to get any Republicans on that for sure. Probably even 1 or 2 Democrats, and you get 60%. It just isn't there. In the House for sure, you're not going to get it. So that's the biggest one on the bonding that he wants. He also wants to cut. This was last Friday, so I don't know what happened today, but last Friday we had, in bonding, we had money targeted for Highway 12, 14, and 23. 12 and 14 are because of the safety issues on those. 12 and 14 have stretches that are considered the 2 most dangerous paths. Yeah. But the way the greater Minnesota roads rank on MnDOT, they always just kind of keep falling short. And so we put money towards those, and then also put money towards widening 23. Well, the governor said part of his negotiation is he said he will not go into special session if we don't get rid of the money for 12, 14, and 23. So and I'm not mincing words, I'm not making that up. That's what the negotiation is right now. And so I'm not going to support that either. The Southwest Light Rail, the cost of it is a little over, give or take a couple million, a little over $100 million a mile. And the cost to operate it is going to be...
Isn't that like a 2.4 billion project?
Well, there's a lot of different numbers, but the number that everyone seems to kind of come in agreement with, I've heard 1.6 and 1.82. I'll go with the 1.6 because I've heard the 1.6 for 12 miles. I've heard the 1.82 for 14 miles. So maybe that makes sense. I don't know, but anyway, those are the numbers that we're working with. So that's and there's 2 lawsuits on it right now. So.
Mental health is a big challenge.
Huge in Minnesota.
For our country.
So why is it huge for Minnesota? Why is Minnesota so different? I mean, are we different even?
Yes. Well, I think so, and I haven't heard anything to contradict this. I saw it actually firsthand. My family, my broader family, we have mental health issues that have required in the past. Not. I don't know how you gauge this, but not on the high end of the spectrum of need. We don't have dangerous, we don't have anything like that, but we've needed psychiatric help, we've needed stuff like that. Both children and adult. In a way, I think it's worse in children, but we're just lacking in this state on enough psychiatrists, especially in greater Minnesota. There just is not there. Now, what I've heard, and I can't prove, you guys might actually know more than me, but what I've heard is that it's, I may be wrong, I don't want to emphasize that, but my understanding is that the reimbursement rates in Minnesota are subpar and you just can't get doctors to come here.
Right.
I'm not saying that's true.
Okay.
That's
You
what
hear that on Woodland Center Board,
Right.
wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Another issue we have in Minnesota that I also see, again observe, and nothing has contradicted this, is we have the big state hospital system here. Up until, what, about the early 80s, roughly?
Yep.
Early in the 70s it started transitioning, which really started changing. And it moved it to more in-home where possible, more smaller operations. And there are some areas, don't make me quote which ones right now, but there are some areas where Minnesota's done quite well with that transition. But what I've observed is there's big holes that just kind of got left by the wayside. So one of the challenges we have, one of the bigger ones is where we have dangerous. What's that?
Here comes Marv.
Oh yeah, Marv and I, we have to visit on a couple things. You can sit in on that. We have a real problem with the people that are dangerous mental health. We don't have this. We have very limited space on where to put them. Like in what is it, St.
Anoka and
Yeah, it's very limited. I'm from the county from getting their work done here, and I'll keep the city from getting their work done. Yeah. So we're talking about mental health, and what they're doing is they're basically dropping them off in emergency rooms. Now we have. I want to make sure I'm still talking about the same thing, because we have another thing that there was a good intention gone awry. We have, is it the 48-hour rule or the 24-hour rule?
they can hold them for, I think it's 48 hours. Oh.
No. What it is if someone is like in corrections and they say, I'm going to hurt myself, I'm whatever, but they show mental illness, that alone is a standard. I think they have to find them a mental health institution outside the prison. It's either it's a 24-hour or 48-hour, but let's say it's 48. But they have to find a place within 48 hours. Well, there's two problems. Number one, there isn't a space. And number two, I would argue that if you're really not enjoying prison and the thing that gets you out for a little while is to say, I think I'm going to hurt myself, you're going to have at least a few people that say that, right? So,
yeah, and then they take them and put them in an emergency room and expect doctors to take care of them.
yeah, and then now they're stuck, and I've talked to like EMS, and EMS is stuck in the middle because they transport.
Yeah.
But to go and transport, they're required to go pick up. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily prisons anymore, but if someone, they need to pick someone up in their house, they're required to pick them, but they don't necessarily have a place to take them. And now they're driving all over the place.
It's not uncommon for us to take them to a facility to check in and turn around and bring them right back.
How are you guys doing financially with, because I know there's the mental health, but also the healthcare in general. Is the county's burden on the healthcare issue, are you maintaining okay with that? Because like Kansas County's hurting.
Right. Now, what are you talking about, Tim? The jail?
No, now I'm jumping. Just totally,
The
county
mandates from
has,
the state aren't, they don't come with the funding that is necessary for it. That's part of the problem. There's a hole between the financing and the
What
demand.
aspect of healthcare are you trying to get at, Tim?
the broad-term health care. So when there is a county financial burden on medical assistance, right? Now it has something to do with covering the balance of the reimbursement. I don't know what it is, you guys do, but there's a cost to health care. And one of the areas, we know that it's getting really, really expensive. So I can tell you, like, if you have private health insurance, it's consistent, including premiums and deductibles. I consistently add up the math to about $25,000 to $30,000 a year if you're on private health insurance right now. Family of four,
Yeah.
you're paying that much.
Yeah,
But now with MNsure, Minnesota Care, and kind of the whole public system, it's extremely strained also. We've taken some money out of the Healthcare Access Fund to just kind of, if you will, pay off some losses, but we can't do that forever. First of all, the Healthcare Access Fund is going away in 19, but also you can't do that forever. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, at your county level, because I know in Kansas County, they are really financially burdened in this area. It's a real struggle right now. So I don't know how Chippewa County is doing. Getting your bills paid?
I don't know, I guess.
Patrick hasn't.
Yeah, he hasn't really said.
So yeah, the guy that was just here.
Patrick would have
He'd
been.
have been able to.
I'll talk to him sometime. I'm just curious. I don't have a real easy solution for it. I just want to know. You guys have to get to it.
I go back by 1:30. Board meeting, so.
Yep, we'll see you guys. Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
See you guys.
That's what I see.
Marv. Dave.
So this was, I knew I would not have a big turnout necessarily for a town hall, but my concern was that no one would come. Well, you came, so there's
Yeah.
one.
But I just got done with my yellow ribbon meeting.
Yeah, where was that at?
We had that down City Hall, just our little committee.
Oh, it was the meeting
Yeah.
for, oh, the yellow ribbon meeting.
Yeah.
When you said yellow, I
Yeah.
thought of chamber with red ribbon when
no.
you said that. So the yellow ribbon committee, okay.
Oh,
Anybody need anything? Are we eating or doing anything?
I don't really need anything.
no, I
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
When you have to start this morning, their editorial, it just drowned me on the legislation passed for tax exemption over.
Oh, the Strib letter to the Strib editorial?
But I spent a long time on the goddamn state legislature page finding the bill, because I wanted to be able to respond correctly, because I'm sending an email off today. I said, if all your editorials is unfactual, but these are, I don't know why people read them.
Yeah, well, it may actually be factually, the things that they referred to, it may be factually accurate.
No, I don't think they are.
So now the actual tax exemption of veterans' pensions, and by the way, this is one thing I had to tell you when I saw you. Chair Bob Detmer is coming out. Let me check though. I think it's the 28th, and it's going to be at the Wilmer VFW. We're trying to settle in on whether it's noon or 1 o'clock. And when I do, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But I want you to get some of the guys there. You know
Yeah.
why, okay?
Yeah.
But it's going to be at the VFW in Wilmer, that part I can assure you. But he's going to be able to kind of navigate through the details.
See, $50,000 income is the max, then it drops off.
Yeah, and yes. So there's two different ways to look at pension.
But they make it look like, no matter how much money you make.
We did expand it to, I want to say, and I know you don't necessarily look at it this way, but because there's lots of different ways of looking,
Yeah.
but just for the sake of discussion, we raised it basically to about the rank of colonel.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's right.
And but what they were arguing in the article is if you're in the military, you go on at 17, and you're in 20 years, you pull retirement
Yeah.
at age 38.
Yeah.
And so they were arguing they shouldn't have been included. They didn't say it that way, but
Okay.
that's what they're talking. Someone who's pulling in another income. No, that letter.
If their income hits 50,000, their benefit's gonna be nil anyway.
Yeah. I have
On the private side.
I had a visceral reaction to that editorial because it upsets me. The person that wrote that has never been around the military.
That's right, yeah.
I can guarantee you. So it's kind of along the same lines of taxing of Social Security. Now in Minnesota, we don't literally tax Social Security, but it's considered in your taxing thing.
Yeah.
And it's a very low threshold, so
Yeah.
you earn almost any income on retirement out of Social Security, you're going to be taxed on it. So by far the majority. And we've tried to cut back on that, and I think this is telltale because the reason why we haven't been able to pass a tax exemption on Social Security, it has too big of a fiscal note, meaning it costs the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but what I would argue then is that tells me we're overburdening the seniors. If there's that much,
Yeah.
it was like, it's huge. It was even bigger than I thought. I want to say it was like 120 or 140 million a year. I might be wrong, but I think it's 120 or 140 million a year.
Yeah.
So that tells me that our seniors, that's what we're
Yeah.
taxing them. So that one isn't going to be anytime soon, but.
That one just drowned there in that editorial.
So, yeah, well, I looked at the editorial online and there's comments underneath. The comments weren't real favorable towards the editorial.
Yeah.
I also think if someone writes an editorial like that, put your name on it.
Yeah, that's right.
I had, a handful of years ago, I had a negative editorial against me out of the Wilmer newspaper, but it just says editorial staff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you're going to rip into me, why don't you put your name on it?
Yeah.
I have to put my name on it.
If you're so proud of writing it, then
Yeah.
take credit for it.
But I called because I said, how come your name is on it? And they said, we aren't required to do that. And I thought, well, that's nice.
But me, as a respondent to it, I'm required to give him name,
Which
address,
town you
phone
live in,
number,
yeah.
and everything.
So, well,
Was this at 1:30?
sorry you
or-
drove.
Oh, no worries. Oh, I didn't get a chance. I guess I actually do check the So that's an editorial they wrote today on the
The
was it
veterans pension.
veterans exempt pension.
Yeah, it was not kind.
Where was that?
The veterans pension letter,
Oh.
editorial, because he hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So, that's too bad.
Have you had a chance to dig into that midnight study on 212?
No, I will tell you, when people say we're going to have special session on the bonding, I don't know. It's not real encouraging with the last email and phone call that I had with leadership. It's not encouraging, but I don't know if we're going to, but if it does, I hope that language with 212 stays in there, because I didn't ask for any money.
Yeah.
I just asked for language change. I thought that was reasonable.
And I understand, no, we went to many meetings, and we usually had it down in the Libby area, because it kind of was that down along there, down in Germany or somewhere in there. Midnight Point is move traffic as far as fast they can from point A to point B. And to a degree I can see that, but sometimes you can't just bypass every goddamn city either.
I don't know. Always be vigilant on that. I don't know that the bypass is part of anyone's. The first time I heard it was when you brought it up, and a couple people.
But it was a proposal.
It was proposed.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate, if for no other reason, the sheer cost of doing a bypass. What I'm hunching is when that bypass came in, there were some well-heeled, organized interests that were bringing that up.
Yeah.
And whatever their interests are, in my 2 years, I've never heard them bring it up again.
Okay.
So because that was a few years ago, right?
Yeah, I'd say 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I don't know what those. That could have been people that haul heavy equipment. It could be. I don't know.
But at least it gives you some background into where they're
Absolutely. What I hear mostly with 212 is, first of all, in Carver County, where it looks like a county road, but you've got high-speed traffic going through there. And then just the sheer amount of ag-related trucks that go through out here that want to get to South Dakota, and we need to improve, even in the towns.
Yeah.
You go through Olivia, 212 is pretty tough with truck traffic.
You know about Melhouse?
I know him, but I don't.
Yeah, I served the guard with him, and he was on that committee. He was a county commissioner at the time.
Yeah.
And he was kind of in favor of bypass from Olivia. He never got reelected.
Well, if you're in town and you see all that truck traffic, I guess bringing it up as a question makes sense. But where I would like to see a bypass, and I think they'd accept it, is up in St. Cloud. Putting 23 around St. Cloud.
Yeah.
I don't think the businesses would have a problem with that, because they're destination anyway.
That's right. They are.
People are going to go shopping in St. Cloud. They're going to drive there. But, my parents lived up north of Duluth for a bunch of years. And the worst part of the drive was going through St. Cloud.
Yeah, that's right. Well, see, that's the thing on Olivia. That is so long through there.
Yeah.
That's just like in St. Cloud. You go all the way down to Vision Street.
Yeah. So, anyway, the common question is what about special session?
Yeah.
The governor, what I'm being told is the governor is pretty, he's kind of saying no special session unless Southwest Light Rail is his biggest one.
Yeah.
But then he's also asking for some spending on some, it's not real clear exactly where they're at, you just get general references, but they're in areas that it's a lot of money, and it's on stuff that it just isn't gonna make it. And what they do a special session is they work out the deal in advance.
Yeah.
So we don't have a deal yet, is the way I'd put it. My wife heard yesterday on the news that the governor said something like there might be, or he's hopeful of, or something with special session next week. So I called someone in leadership, and they said after today's meeting that's not likely.
But everything he pushes is for the military. Everything.
And that's yes.
I did a phone survey the other day. What the heck was that? I hate him, but I took it anyway.
There was a polling.
I gave you glowing remarks.
I always say I get one vote at least.
Yeah.
So, it'll be this month. Now, it won't be all month, but there might be one or two more phone calls. And then you might hear or see something in August. And then depending on what that shows, maybe September. And then depending on what that that shows, you might see one every month after, or every couple weeks after that.
Now,
I don't know anything about them because they don't coordinate, so it could have been an EFL poll, it could have been a Republican poll. It could
well,
have
both sides, because they.
Yeah, and it could have been some independent group too, because there were some independents that polled as well.
Lyle Coleman there, who did Lyle vote for light rail? They said he did. I said, I'll talk to him about that.
Well, it depends on what you're asking voting for light rail. What they did was, when they had the bonding bill, so here's the bonding bill, okay? So what Senator Latz did was he threw an amendment on top of it for language that effectively provided for light rail. It was just a percentage. It was one number. They changed 10 to 20, which sounds innocuous, right?
Yeah.
But it was significant. But that amendment passed by voice vote. And then they called division, and so people stood, but that still is not a recorded vote.
See, that's it.
So no one, you can't really say who did or didn't vote for it.
I know, it's just the way they word things and
So he may have, he may not have. I would say, I do know that Lyle has integrity, so if you say, did you vote for that amendment, he'll give you the answer.
yeah, I know he would.
Yeah, so, and I'm actually hunching, because that only has to be by a simple majority, amendments onto it. And I would hunch that he did not vote for it. That would have been not a really good vote for him.
Yeah.
So I'm hunching that he did not, but I honestly don't
No, I
know.
feel he's a pretty honorable person.
Yeah, he'll be upfront with you about that, I believe.
Yeah. But sometimes the way they word the question, and then if you don't know the details.
Yeah, and but I know that's what the general public hates.
Yeah.
Is they hate that you have to. So I feel bad if someone's at the door. So what I get a lot at the door is you guys have messaged very well, mind you. So how does it feel to get nothing done? Well, my response is we actually got quite a bit done, but I already sound offensive just by saying that. So
Absolutely, yeah.
So I appreciate that fact. So if the person's willing to talk, and most of them are, you say, well, here's the things that we accomplished. If they say, well, what happened? I'm like, are you sure you want to hear? And they usually do. So I kind of give them a play-by-play, and I think at that point they're like, there you go again, sort of thing. So I hate going there. I don't blame the public for being bugged by our government. We for many years now, we have not served the public honorably and with integrity and honesty, and I was pleasantly surprised this special session. I thought going into special session, I thought it was just going to be one big stack of ugly, is what I thought. I was very pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised with how bipartisan almost everything was. There's a few things that are going to be real partisan, but they tend to be amendments that are sort of gotcha amendments and stuff. But the real legislation, the bonding bill that we had passed, I think 92 votes. That's a lot of votes on a bonding bill, especially considering there's probably about 4 to 6 Republicans that will never vote for a bonding bill. So it was an extremely bipartisan bonding bill that went out of the House. The tax bill was very bipartisan and had a similar sort of voting number. I think it was even higher percentage for that.
Well, that's what gets me as a press. Report the facts and don't take in bellies with your own thoughts.
And then an omnibus spending bill. When I hear supplemental spending bill, that means more spending, which makes me wretch because we spent everything last year.
Yeah.
There were a couple things in there I didn't really care for, but I thought it was a fair spending bill. We went through it, and I thought that the interests of everyone was kind of short. And it didn't pass, and the governor did sign that one in law. That's where the veterans pension was in there. So.
Can't believe that last night we sold bonds.
Bonds for what?
Well, street improvements, that was
So you sold general obligation bonds for the city, okay?
805,000. Got discounted down to 785, and the interest rate was 1.3, just rounding it up. And then we sold another one for 740 for the water and sewer work we're doing. That was 2.6.
This is to bring the revenues in.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, sell the bonds so we can pay for it.
Yes, yeah.
And then we refinanced finance this Main Street project, that was, we had 700,000. And that come in at 1.6% interest. It's unbelievable to get bond rating like that, but the city got rated from a A+ to a double A-.
Good. Well, you guys have done good.
Well, we got a city manager and finance director down there who's fabulous.
Yeah, and I will tell you, because I think I said this at that industrial meeting here the other day. I am honestly seeing encouraging signs of a future for small town Minnesota.
Yeah.
I am seeing it here. The places I'm seeing it most in my district, and I think there's probably other places, but the place I'm literally seeing it happen is here, Olivia, Clara City, Princeburg. Princeburg, as you know, is kind of a unique situation with the school there, but still, it's young families moving in there, and they are moving from the cities and moving out to Princeburg.
Clara City, you can sure see the changes going through there.
Yeah.
See, Wendy Bach and I used to be on city council together. And Wendy does a good job down there.
Well, and you know, Wilmer's a little bit different because it's more of an economic hub. But look at the building that's going on there this year. I don't like a couple things they're doing in the city council, mind you, but be that as it may, when you see national chains moving into a town, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's right.
They have you know, the hard numbers. They don't do things if the numbers don't make sense. So, and what I think it is, and I don't know what it's going to look like 10 years from now, but you have people that the quality of life out here for raising families and stuff is just better. The cost of housing is realistic. And so the big question you have is can you get work? Well, first of all, there's more work out here than what people think. And I'm talking technical, engineering and science and stuff like that. And also the people, there's also more and more telecommuting. At least like with one of the spouses, what will typically happen is one spouse is working with some firm out of the cities that wants to expand their footprint, so they have them work out here and they telecommute, and then the spouse works at a local office or
like that prison never gets off the ground, the vets home gets all down, this area just explodes.
I agree. So I'm fighting so hard for them.
Yeah, I know you are.
I know that I am.
I know you are. That prison is just a given.
Yeah, I know.
But politics fall in the place there left.
Well, we came a long way with the prison in that when I first started talking about it, literally even before I was sworn in and I was just elected, talking to people, there were some concerns even in the Republican caucus that I had to work through, and we moved from here to here. It's just that we have to get to here. But we did move. You've been around long enough, you know that sometimes it's the movement.
It doesn't happen overnight.
So, and I do think getting Bob Detmer focused in on this vet home, being
just a great guy.
He's a great guy. He has a real strong heart for this. He asked me from time to time how it was going, what he can do to help. And I had that conversation with some of the stuff we had worked through. So let's hope. So what else do I have on here? I kind of had my whole shtick. This was the first place I was going to try. You would have had it fresh off the press. Probably would have stumbled a couple times. I will tell you that my biggest concern, I was going to kind of put it into words with the county commissioners, but they were kind of getting up and going. But my big concern out here, there's 1A and 1B. 1A is healthcare costs, and 1B is property taxes on farmland. It is, I don't think property taxes in town are overly wonderful either. But when you,
I think we're falling in a deep
I can give you like one example. This guy from Candioi County. No, he's in the Wilmer School District, and they took a big hit on that levy. But he showed me a tract of land. It was like 180 to 200 acres, somewhere in there. So not a huge piece, but a significant chunk of land. And he showed me in his property taxes this last statement. It was $54 or $56 an acre. And in 2009, that same piece of land was $14 an acre.
Okay.
That is a huge upswing. And I've heard in Kansas County, again, the Wilmer school levy has a lot to do with it. I had one guy who didn't show me his tax statement, so I'm going to trust him. But he said his one piece of land he's paying $72 an acre for taxes. You can't grow crops with that.
No, you can't.
And so, and I don't see, some people are blaming the counties, saying they don't spend wisely. Counties are kind of deal with the hand they're dealt. There isn't really a whole lot of places you can't waste money. You're told to spend money on this, and this.
The only complaint I got was this county board. We sold bonds there. Sold them. They can take and sell bonds for road work. And the people that are paying off the bonds are enjoying the roads. Where I can pay tax for 20 years and die, I still haven't got benefit on the taxes that they're accumulating. Take and save up until they.
So one of the things that I've noticed is I'm a local control person, make better decisions locally, so county, towns, townships. But when it comes to spending, what the elected officials prefer to is push it up. So they prefer the state. Well, actually, the state does this too. So they prefer the federal,
Right.
But they push it up, and so, and to be quite honest, it's human nature, because if the county commissioners voted for a general obligation bond purchase, they're the ones that voted for it.
Yeah. But what they do is keep raising taxes, pay for some of this. If they bonded for it, they wouldn't have to raise as much tax.
Well, I actually think they would, because maybe a little bit for the. You're right, maybe for the roads.
Have the money in reserve.
Yeah. But where the raised property taxes from the county, that's what I was asking them about healthcare is there's a real push on unfunded mandates from the state on certain things. You got to pay the bills. So could Chippewa County be more lean or find a way to kind of put the money in a different context? Perhaps. But I know a lot of their spending. I've been to all the county meetings and I've looked at their numbers, and they're having to spend money on things that the state's telling them they have to spend it on.
No, I understand their mandates. Same way we got to take it.
We did have in the tax. Well, that's in the weeds. I won't get into it. The county commissioners will tell. We put some money. We have this whole buffer thing going on, and that was another unfunded mandate to the counties or watersheds. But here it's Chippewa County is the ditch authority. And they have to do work. Well, we put money in there for them, but they got vetoed, so put another money for them. So.
I'm Mark Garvey.
Nice to meet you. I'm Vlad.
What?
I'm Vlad.
Okay.
I'm actually with the DFL. I came up here from Hopkins.
He came here to track me, but we didn't have an audience.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, was it recorded?
I'm glad I came, like, on a personal. It's actually pretty informative how counties work.
Yeah. So in an election year, I'll occasionally have Vlad. You're the one that I'll probably see, right? There was another gentleman last year. I don't know if he was African American, but I thought he was, but and I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
No, maybe he was Hispanic or Latino. Mario or something like that.
I actually think I worked with him. It's probably Alfred. Because I worked with him.
What did you say his name?
Alfred.
No, that wasn't the guy.
Oh,
It was a younger guy, and he had a name, now that I recall, he had a name like Mario or something like that. So maybe he was Latino. I don't remember. I saw him a lot last year, and I haven't seen him at all this year.
Guy's name slips my mind now that's running against Lyle.
Andrew Lang.
Lang, that's it. I think he'd be a very honorable person. But Lyle's been good, and he's got seniority. We got to kind of look at some of those. If they've been doing a good job for you, and they got seniority, you can't just boot them out too.
Yeah.
Because Lang, very good person, but he was started at the bottom and got up.
Yeah. Nope, that's one of the considerations. Lyle and I are kind of in that zone legislatively. We work together extremely well.
No, you're a very
But
good team.
we're different. We're different parties, and so during an election year, you have this weird no man's land.
Yeah.
So we've had some good talks.
Yeah.
There have been some legislative things that we've had to deal with.
Yeah.
And we've dealt with those,
Yeah.
but we understand there has to be
Yeah, there's got to be a certain amount.
there's got to be
Yeah.
well in our own supporters.
Yeah.
Like with these town halls, we've done town halls together in the past, and we discussed, and we just thought having a town hall together might get more people here, but we're going to get a lot of people unhappy that we're doing that. So
Yeah.
we just decided to go at it on our own.